So today we're going to bring you absolute value with beginner and pro tips for uploading your YouTube videos. I'm Dave from TVR Creators and I make weekly YouTube tips help you build your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is plan ahead. It's a great thing and not something that everybody obviously thinks about, but this is you guys rock. And I want you to think about first your description and really plan ahead on that. Now a little tip I will give, you can make a default description for your videos, which is awesome. And that means basically you can just put all the little things you want to put in your description. As a little tip that I do, I usually start with the top where it says video descriptions. That just reminds me to give a little paragraph about, you know, what that individual video is about, so that the viewers have more info. YouTube has the right info to know who to share that video, that content with. And then underneath that you might want to do your normal, you know, links to the videos you want people to find on your channel, maybe other playlists, maybe links to other platforms that you want to share and contact with your creators with, other little things you might want to share, little notes about the video, anything that you want to put in your description. Something that I do actually is I actually save a notebook file with a default of all my description, and I sometimes will look through it with a fine comb brush just to make sure I've got all the links I want in there and stuff like that, so before I get to the upload I know exactly what it's going to look like, and I will copy and paste that straight into the description. And quite often it will evolve and change in time. Now something else I want you to think about is make sure that you've got your thumbnail ready, and that's something I would highly recommend. Make sure it's a nice clear thumbnail that's very obvious what the video is about. Usually have that ready, it doesn't have to be ready straight away, but I would highly recommend that. And when you're doing your titles, I highly recommend you have your title ready anyway before you've even uploaded your video. But if for whatever reason you're still thinking about what title to do, what I would do is whatever your video is about, so if it's about baking or cooking or whatever, and type in that keyword into YouTube, you'll get a list of 10 options that people have typed into YouTube, and then you could see one or two that, you know, might fit your video, make that part of the title. Then in front of that you might want to put something that's sort of appealing to the viewer, because ultimately, you know, YouTube is about people, so you want to entice them with something that sort of grabs their attention, and then sort of beef it up with one or two keywords, but sort of make it like a sentence, if that sort of makes sense. So for example, you know, the 5 top tips for baking the cake in 2021, for example. That's just an example that you could use. I want you to think about the tags of your videos. This is a great tip I want to share with you. So when you're doing your tags, type in specific keywords depending on what your content is about. You'll get phrases, and I would recommend you copy and paste a few of them into your tags. You can copy and paste your title, it won't hurt, and any of the phrases you might think of. So think about how you would type if you were searching for that particular thing that you're making a video about. See what comes up, and I would copy as many of them as possible. You've got 500 characters to fill up, so use as many of them as possible, but at the same time don't get overstressed about it, because YouTube have said that they're eventually going to fade out this option, but until that happens, use it, but just don't get overly stressed about it. Other things you want to think about filling in is what subtitles you want to use. So perhaps look at your YouTube Studio app, see what parts of the world are not covered by the language that you speak. So you might want to do subtitles for other parts of the world, depending if you go, oh, that particular country, there's a lot of people from that country that watch my video, so bear that in mind. You might want to think about the niche. And what I would say about that though, I find I just put mine into film and animation. I've tested that quite a lot over the years and I've found it doesn't make a massive difference, so don't worry about that. And also, if your video is not for kids, make sure that that is ticked not for kids because of the CAPA law, and just ensure that, because if you click it is for kids and it isn't, then it will narrow your audience for your video, far less people will see it, and it will make it harder to monetize in the future and that sort of thing. So bear that in mind. Before we carry on, consider smashing that like button if you're getting value from today's video, and consider subscribing for more content like this. And the next tip I want to share you guys is later down the road, give your video about 28 28 to 48 hours, and if you, for whatever reason, you're not quite getting the views that you normally get on your video, try not to compare it to other channels, just think about your channel. Then there's nothing wrong with changing your thumbnail and title and even your description down the road. Maybe add a few tags. What I would highly recommend, if you're not happy with the traffic you're getting from your video, perhaps type in a few different key phrases around the topic that you're making, maybe readjust the title of your video, and maybe redesign your thumbnail. Maybe it's not quite clear enough, or maybe I would always recommend you have 2 or 3 on ready to go anyway. Maybe just post a different one, see if you get more traction. Bear that in mind, and maybe just fill out your description a bit more. Maybe you need to fill out a bit more information for YouTube to pick up, to send to more people, and sort of just bear that in mind. You could say, well, why don't you have that ready anyway? And that is when you post your video, you could be really happy with how you've filled out the YouTube form, but then a couple of days later you might go, actually I could have added this, I could have changed that, actually I could have done a better thumbnail. So bear that in mind. Now I'm going to give you a power tip, and the power tip I'm going to share with you now is this. Make sure in your YouTube library, studio app, whatever you want to call it, that you have at least a couple videos ready to go. So if there's ever a week when you're feeling a bit laggy, or you're being poorly, or perhaps you just got a week where you just can't be bothered to film, and burnout is a real thing on YouTube. It happens to all of us, so bear that in mind. So for whatever reason, you've got a couple videos ready to go, even if it's just one, so you can go, you know what? I've got a video ready to go, I can post that, it's okay. And it just takes away the stress a little bit. So you're not like, oh my God, I need to make a video this week. And if you've got a couple in your library and go, it's all right, I can chill out for a week or so, or maybe get ahead of yourself and have 3 or 4 videos if you want to be really good. And then, for the next few weeks, you can just go, oh, I'll just post that. And, you're trickling out that great content that when you were really in the mood to do it, but it just takes the pressure off and hopefully stops burnout from happening as often. Now, something else I want to share you guys is copyright music. Now, I know we all have our favourite song, our favourite backing track, and I'm going to be brutally honest, do not use them. Because there's so many people that they get flagged and think, oh yeah, it's great, and they will get a copyright strike or whatnot, but then down the road they want to monetize, and then they're wondering why they can't monetize and blah blah blah, and it's just not worth it. And actually some artists could be funny, they might go, actually I want to strike every video, so every video that has my song, their videos get taken down, and you've put a lot of effort into your content, so you don't want that to happen. I would highly recommend the music on YouTube that has a great library, great selection of backing tracks and songs that you could use. I highly recommend you just mention the title and the artist within your description, just to sort of cover yourself. Bear that in mind. Try to use one of the more basic ones, not because they're basic, but just they're less likely to get strike down the road, so bear that in mind. Or to be really safe, as harsh as it sounds, don't use music, or make it yourself, or get someone else to do it who can make music, just because it just isn't worth it, because you put a lot of time into your content and you don't want it to get taken down off the platform or getting kicked off YouTube altogether. I do not want that happening for you guys, because ultimately you guys do rock. Okay, so question of the day then. Question of the day. What one tip would you give to any content creator when uploading a YouTube video? Comment in the comments below exactly what that tip is. It would be really interesting to see what you people have to say. So I hope you guys got value from today's video. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe for more weekly content like this. Let me know what you think of the backdrop and stuff like that. Have a great day. Oh, and if you want to know what we're doing, check us out on Twitter and look at our other content on our channel. Have a great day, great weekend, and as always guys, you guys rock.